Technical difficulties. Sorry about that. Welcome, guys, to another Friday live session. Today is more of a stretch mobility session, so I don't know if it's fair to call it a workout. You might break a little bit of a sweat, but we are going to be using our favorite orange stretching aids, Stick Mobility, today. If you do not have stick mobilities, I apologize. I did that to you. No, but obviously, if you have something similar, you can do a lot of these moves with this. Obviously, there's some moves that are kind of unique to the stick, some of the bending of the stick moves, but we won't be doing any of those today. So a wooden dowel, even a broomstick, could probably achieve some of the similar stuff with some of the moves we're going to do today with these sticks. So I always encourage people as far as recommended exercise equipment, Stick Mobility is up there and probably my top three, just because they're really, anybody can use them. They're beneficial to everybody, and they really do last. If you treat them right, they will last essentially a lifetime, I should say. All right, so we're going to start with some upper body shoulder mobility with our kayaks. My hands are all the way at the ends of the stick. I'm just paddling it forward. For this one, I really try to keep my head straight, hips straight. Okay, I don't want to turn my body. Turn my trunk, really, okay? I mean, obviously I can do this too, but I get a lot more work of those shoulders when I do this, all right? I'm also resisting that rotation. So it's a little bit of core work, all right? And I'll go backwards. I don't know why, but the reverse kayak, which is what I'm doing right now, people have trouble with this one. Right? And I don't know what it is. And I don't know because I'm using a 5-foot stick, so I didn't go over the length of the sticks. This is a 5-footer. The ones on the ground I have are 6. Stick Mobility currently offers just 2 sides. There's a long and a short. I believe the long is 6'4", and the short is 4'8", 4 feet 8 inches. So this, we kind of have a couple of the earlier generations. And we have a 4-foot, so obviously more here, about this size of an orange stick, right? And for some reason, people, they start doing the kayak and they try to go backwards and they get confused, but I don't know why, but it's a great move both ways. Now we're doing our pendulums, all right? So the stick is across my chest. This is a transverse pendulum. Once again, I'm just focusing on keeping my head straight, hips straight. Got a lot of movement in the upper back scapula. Let me show you the side views. Alright? Really feel that shoulder blades moving back there. And I think that's a big thing for a lot of people. Now we'll do the frontal pendulum. Alright? A lot of our clients, not just both males and females, but it seems to be more males, tend to complain of neck and upper back pain. Alright? Which is, I think a lot of more people nowadays are doing that with looking at screens, the text neck syndrome or condition. All right, let's go back to them again. Kayak, forward. Doing about 10-ish each arm. I know I'm just kind of rolling through it as I talk. But yeah, so the text neck and sleeping improperly, there's a lot of issues that can give people a sore neck or upper back. So I think these moves, especially right here, and some other ones we'll actually do next, are kind of perfect for alleviating some of that upper back and neck pain. And I have a lot of that. I know you guys, if you followed the live workouts before, I talk about it. Jiu-jitsu, which I've been doing a lot of lately. Very tough on my neck. So I got a lot of that upper back and neck pain. And these help. I do these every morning. I do the kayaks and pendulums every morning. Alright, so now we're going to go into what we call a nunchuck. Another one I do every morning. Alright, so I'm doing shoulder external rotation. Okay, I'll get a little closer for you guys. I know this is, let's go ahead, I'm going to change the angle. I think the upward angle is a little unflattering, so I'm going to raise it up a little bit. Okay. There we go. Alright. Now, a little better, right? So, upward angle, nunchuck stretch. So I got this arm here, externally rotated, right? So I got my right hand and the stick is behind my shoulder, right? I reach across my belly, grab it, and externally rotate. Show you from the side angle. right? So I'm here, and basically this is external rotation, right? So this is kind of my arm is naturally here, and then I add the stick to increase that range of motion for external rotation, right? So I hold for anywhere. You can do a 30 count, you can do a minute. We're just going to do it a little faster, so I'm just going to do about 5 count, and then I'm going to change my elbow position. I'm going to go in front, pull across, right? This seems to be, this position seems to that frontal, or the one that the elbow is pointing in front, seems to be more achievable for more people, right? Both are good. Both are working on external rotation, right? But it seems this one's a little less stressful. Some people, it's hard for them. They get into here like this. They have really tight rotator cuffs, or maybe a rotator cuff injury, or once again that tight upper back and shoulders where they haven't been doing these types of mobility movements. So that is a challenge to get in this position, right? So this one is kind of the alternative, but they're both good. I like working them both out. So I'm going to show you when I switch arms. One thing I like adding to this, I guess I'll show you when I'm on this side, why not, is a little neck rotation and then flexion to my opposite collarbone. I really feel that stretch right here, light up the neck, right? I love doing that. Once again, like I said, neck pain, soreness, right? Getting that external rotation, turn, and then drop the chin towards the collarbone. Really stretches that neck out. Alright, I'm going to switch sides. Nunchuck. So this is why they call it the nunchuck. You guys ever saw the old school kung fu movies, right? Wapa. Alright? Wapa. Wapa. The nunchuck, the weapon. Maybe not. Alright, sorry. Alright, so here, got this arm drop behind, externally rotate on this side. I'd say I'm a range of motion on this left side is not nearly as good as my right side. Way better. I used to have tremendous left shoulder pain. Scapula, I think it was a lot really connected to the rotator cuff. I don't know if I was, torn labrum or anything like that, but it was definitely a lot of pain and discomfort, constant, chronic. And thankfully, I actually found a really good massage therapist that helped really alleviate it. And then I got really more diligent on doing this, doing other rotator cuff movements, prehab and rehab stuff. And I changed up, it's interesting, I just did some boxing training, training clients who had boxing in their workouts. So I wasn't boxing, but I was holding pads. And for one of the things used for boxing training is a mitt. The trainer, myself, would hold a mitt in my hand like this, and people would punch it, right? And the arm would constantly go like this, right? So over time, I'm externally with force, right? And then it just really destroyed my shoulder. So I actually bought these new paddles, and I'll just go ahead. Why not show you? Since they're right here, I got them right here. This is the paddle, this is the target, and now they punch this, so that goes back instead of my arm really doing this. I get a little wrist action, but it's way better on my shoulder. So that's the thing. I know you guys always, not always, but you frequently hear me complain about neck pain, and that I continue to do jiu-jitsu, and yes, that is true. It might be the definition of insanity to, do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. But I did modify some things in my life to kind of alleviate the pain, and I've really mitigated my pain tremendously. And we try to talk about that a lot with clients. All right, first, next one I'm going to do is a kind of internal-external shoulder stretch, the teeter-totter. Once again, another one I do a lot. Obviously dealing with the pain, mostly in my upper back, I like to kind of do a lot of these exercises. This is the last one. I'll switch to some hips and some hamstrings next. Don't worry. Thoracic spine too. Alright? So if you can see this one, once again, this arm is going in the external rotation. See it over here, similar to that nunchuck right here. And then I pull that hand here, And this arm goes in internal rotation, the straight arm right here, right? I'll hold each one for about 5 seconds. Another key with this one, and I tell clients, is don't turn. Similar to the kayak, don't rotate. Your body wants to take a path of least resistance. So for your external rotation, people will start doing this. Oh yeah, I'm getting that arm way back. I'm getting that arm way back. No, you're rotating your upper body. Right there. Freeze right there. Alright? Pulling this hand in front of the pocket. The same for this. Now, a lot of people actually have a lot of range of motion on this for this internal, like when you go like that. Okay? The key is keep your elbow pointed to the ceiling. So this elbow, my right elbow, pointing to the ceiling. Palm is down, right elbow to the ceiling. Don't, sometimes people can go and they go like that. Yeah, you're not doing anything, right? Here, okay? Sides, okay? Yeah, definitely a little bit more range of motion on my right for external rotation for sure. All right. I'm telling you, this combo, or what I started with, or I showed you guys so far, kayaks, nunchucks, pendulums, cube tie. Those are kind of go-tos. If you got shoulder and neck pain, tight shoulders, you wake up, maybe a little crick in your neck, or you really feel like your upper back is tight as banjo strings, hit these 4 and really loosens it up. Alright? Really improves the mobility of those joints. Alright? You talk about rotation, especially for internal and external rotation. That's something you should do, and we'll talk about a little bit more when we do some hip movements. You gotta rotate your ball, like the ball and socket joints, right? So just one thing, a lot of people don't realize is that, like the hip joint, we talked about it before with hip cars, right? So we got flexion, extension, adduction, adduction, and then we've got internal, external rotation. Same thing for your shoulder. You got internal, external rotation for that. Right, so we got so external, internal rotation, right? Abduction, adduction, flexion, extension, right? So it's like you got to train your arm. That's why they're so good. Well, cars are so good. Through those 4 ranges of motion to help kind of alleviate pain and tightness surrounding the joint. Same, the sticks offer a lot of similar benefits. All right. I know, I'm getting distracted, sorry. Alright, so we got the long sticks. These are 6-footers, as you guys can see. One of my favorite ones, obviously I know this is another upper back stretch, but this is lats, so more this big muscle right here. This is the X stretch. I love this one. Another good one. I don't get to do it as much as my 2 long sticks are being used. I donated them to somebody. So as you can see, I got a hinge position. I'll show you from the side. I got the hinge position going. Sticks are inside my feet. Right? And I'm really dropping my weight. I feel the hanging sensation as I hold on to the top of the sticks. And I'm moving the sticks side to side, keeping my hips relatively still. Just moving my trunk. I feel it down that left side, from the armpit, down the lat on that side, and then I switch. I can feel it really get down to my lower back. Honestly, lumbar portion of my lower back is feeling that stretch. Kind of similar like if you were hanging from a pull-up bar. I'm just moving the stretch around. Elongating those muscles. The word I learned when I did the stick mobility certification that you're doing or you're promoting, which you can do a lot with sticks, is brachiation. So the hanging sensation. Right? There's a couple other hanging movements. I don't know if we'll get to them yet, but they're pretty cool that you can do. Monkey hang is one of them that comes to mind, which is this right here. One variation is when I'm actually hanging from the stick. So this knee is down. Some movements here. Just hold on sort of like that for that long stretch right there. All right, since I'm on the ground, let's go ahead and do a little hammy. Actually, I'll do my flow. I like this little lower body flow. A lot of hip mobility and flexibility of muscles that surround the pelvis. So I got a hip flexor stretch. Kind of similar. I also, once again, hang. So I feel this one all the way, once again, from kind of essentially my bicep all the way down to the top of my hip right here. So I do call this a hip flexor because it kind of looks like the runner's lunge. So you can activate that hamstring, bring that heel to the butt, really turn it on if you want, or just keep it down. Hold for about a 10 count. Then I'm going to straighten out this lead leg, hip hinge, hammy stretch. Alright. So I'm really focusing on keeping my spine neutral. Okay? So I feel the stretch back behind this leg way sooner if I do that. So if I try to do this, it takes forever to feel the stretch, right? And then I'm rounding my back, which, you know, depends. Not that it's bad necessarily to do a lot of rounding your back, but I like to keep this good hip hinge so I feel the stretch more and I get a little bit of stretch on the lower back, right? Then I turn it into an adductor stretch. Leg out to the side, stick inside my thigh, rock out, make sure I'm kind of pulling that stick so my knee is still going perpendicular to my pelvis. Hang out, stretch inside the adductor right there. Feel a little dorsal flexion right here of the ankle since my knee is driving over the toe. Okay? Now I'll switch sides. Hip flexor on this side. It's really more than a hip flexor. Now I'm stretching more than just this hip right here. But it feels good. Alright. Hip hinge hammy stretch. Toe up to the ceiling, leg locked out, hinge to where I can find my end range. And that's kind of another concept is the idea of people complain of tight hamstrings, which is very, I think it is common. People, with a lot of sitting that we do for work and the workforce does nowadays, you can definitely have tight hamstrings, but it's all connected. It's not, the solution to alleviating tight hamstrings is not just stretch the hamstring. That's a portion of it, but it also includes adductors, trying to increase flexibility of the adductors, doing the hip mobility drills like hip taught, stretching the lower back, the glute stretch, the piriformis, the snake stretch, something talking about stick mobility, I can show you that. Before we're done today. All right, we're going to do one more on each side. Hanging hip flexor, I'm going to run this one a little faster. All right, so pushing that hip. See if I can show you from the side. You guys can see this, where the stick is. I think the stick position is big on this one because a lot of people will try to go here and go like that, which is, I still feel it, but I put it out even with my foot and then tell people, push your hip to the stick, all right? And yes, I am getting a little extension in my lower back, okay? Once again, like I started talking about rounding the back, not necessarily bad, but for me it's okay. I really have no lower back issues. But if you got a lower back issue, you might not want to extend it like that, okay? Just saying. All right, so I go to the hammy stretch. And this stick is just a base. You can technically try to do this without a stick, but the stick is support, all right? It allows you maybe to get a little deeper and keep a good spine position. All right, head up there. All right. I like the stick in this one because it keeps it going out here. A lot of people, not a lot, but they'll go out here and they'll alleviate the tension by not driving it directly perpendicular to the pelvis. This keeps it nice and perpendicular. Really gets a good adductor stretch. We got one more, and then we'll stand back up with the stick. Do a hip and thoracic spine, a couple hip ones, and then I'll finish with a nice little calf racers. There's so many things you can do with the stick. The sticks are really good, and I know we're doing really more focusing on stretching and mobility today. You can really do some isometrics, some really challenging isometric strength exercises with the sticks. One that comes to mind is the dead bug. Especially for core, I think isometrics is really huge for, it's great for strength training in any muscle group, but I would say core is probably, there's a lot of really great isometric core exercises. Plank is probably the most common one people think about, but the dead bug, you are moving, there's some concentric and eccentric. The core is not moving. So, alright, back up. Dead bug, for anybody wondering, I would use a shoulder stick, but this is one version of the dead bugs. Alright, so I got a little contralateral, you can go with the foot too. Alright, back up. Let's not get distracted. Alright, slap shot lateral lunge, thoracic spine. Okay, first one I'm going to do is just thoracic spine. Okay? Head still, hip still. Just moving the stick with my upper back. I mean, this one's tailor-made for golfers right here. I mean, thoracic spine rotation or mobility, huge for golfers, right? And then I add in this little add-on is a lateral lunge, which is also great for golfers, right? But let's be serious, straight for one. Slap shot and I lunge to the side, my hand is down. You can go the other way. Some people will do this. I like this because it really increases the stretch in this top arm, all right? See if I can get the, ooh. I can ride in the stance a little lower. Alright, back to 2 sticks. And I'm running and gunning, I know guys, but, you know, I just wanted to intro some of the stick mobility stuff, one of my faves. Some of my go-tos, right? Next one's Captain Morgan, hip mobility, okay? So I got my knee high as I can, waist level, I open up, abduct, and then adduct. Abduct with a B, and adduct with a D. Alright, I'm really pushing too. The sticks provide kind of that feedback, that tactile feedback, alright? If I want to go a little further, opening up a little bit more, try to keep my knee over the toe, eyes mostly going forward. I know I'm looking at the camera too, but you all add a little flexion to this one, alright? And you add a little rotation to this one. That's the kind of the benefits the right word, but it is the benefit, you know? You got progressions with stick mobility, you know? Get tight on this left foot. Oh yeah, a little tight hip on that side. Alright, last one is a little bonus. This is a little calf raise series, alright? So we're going to get into our horse stance, okay? Looks like, basically, that's way I describe it, it looks like I'm riding a horse, right? So I like, one thing I learned in the certification course, I externally internal rotate my feet to get out to the horse stance. Alright, so horse stance, hands right about the center of my body, lightly grabbing the stick, or relying on it, I guess means, you know, how much you need. I'm trying to keep it the light grip. Alright? And then hit the heel raise. Alright, I'm going to alternate. Good. Now I'm going to double. Whew. Man, it's up. There we go. Come on, like that. See if I can do the rocks now. That's a little add-on, but that is definitely good heel raise. If you're working for calf strength and kind of Achilles, trainer Achilles, trying to make sure, I mean, we talked, I don't know if you've been paying attention to sports, ton of Achilles issues with pro athletes lately, and not that they're not doing the proper work, you know, things just happen, but one thing that us general population can do is a lot of strengthen your calf, ankle mobility drills, and that's a good one like that. That'll help that. All right, guys, a little crash course in stick mobility today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you like this live workout, but weren't able to tune in while we were doing it, head to the YouTube channel. Actually, it's going to be on our feed for this week. But then we're going to we'll archive it and it goes to the YouTube channel. So all the past live workouts are on the YouTube channel right now. So head over there and subscribe if you missed one. I mean, we're getting into the 8th month of the year, so we've done almost 7 full months. You know, I only missed a couple weeks, so we're almost 7 full months of workouts. So check it out. Let us know what you think, and let me know maybe what a future live workout will be. See you next week.